Alright guys, so I am so excited because tomorrow is my very first race on the race calendar for 2025, and it is the polar opposite Peachtree presented by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Now this race is set to run on January the 4th, 2025 in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm so excited because this is an inaugural race, which means it's the very first one. It is a 10K race, which is 6.2 miles. And what makes it so special is that it is tied to the original Peachtree Road Race. Now the Peachtree Road Race is a 10K. It is the world's largest 10K with over 50,000 participants. It's held right here in Atlanta, Georgia on the 4th of July every year. I had the pleasure of running the Peachtree Road Race in 2016. And the Atlanta Track Club organizes the Peachtree Road Race. So for this year, what they decided to do was create the inaugural polar opposite Peachtree, which is running the Peachtree Road Race course in reverse. And it is also in the wintertime as opposed to the summer like the Peachtree Road Race. And so the race tomorrow is exactly 6 months from the race coming up this summer. Inaugural race. Now it's not as big as the Peachtree Road Race. It's only 5,000 participants that were able to get into this inaugural race. And that's really what makes it so special as well. It's the first one. It's something different. And if you know anything about running, you're a true runner and you like these road race type things, then you know fear of missing out is our adrenaline. It is what we run off of. And so that is the reason why I am running a race in January in Atlanta when I don't like the cold weather. Now we actually used to live here in Atlanta for 10 years, and we moved probably about 4 years ago now, but we lived here for 10 years, and I was actually a member of the Atlanta Track Club. So I still follow the running groups here in Atlanta. And so I guess maybe October of 2024, they posted on their Facebook page about this new concept, this new race that was coming January the 4th. And I was, I live in the DC area now, but I was like, I gotta be there. It's the first one. How cool is that to be able to say I ran the polar opposite? And so I was like, I have to be there. So whatever it takes, I'm gonna be there. So a few weeks later, they made a post for the date that the registration would officially open, the date and time. It was set to open on a certain day at 9 a.m. So I set my alarm clock on my phone for that date and that time, 9 a.m., because I was not going to miss this registration. I didn't know how many slots they had at the time. They didn't announce that, but everybody was talking about it. There was such a big buzz about this race. I was like, I cannot miss it. I have to be in the number. So I set my alarm for it, and I remember I got to work and I put my stuff down, and it was 8 o'clock. And something told me to go to the website to see if it was live. Now, it wasn't supposed to be live until 9. So I went to the website at 8 o'clock, and sure enough, it was already live. I pulled out my credit card right then and signed up for this race. Now, the race itself was $70 for non-members, and I'm a non-member at this point. I'm no longer a member of the Atlanta Track Club, so it was $70 for non-members. If you were a member of the Atlanta Track Club, the race was $60. They also had a bundle where you could purchase both the Peachtree Road Race in July bundled with this new race in January, and you got guaranteed entry into the Peachtree Road Race in July. Now the Peachtree Road Race in July is not guaranteed entry. They do it on a lottery system, so you may or may not get in. So I'm on this website looking, and I'm like, okay, my mind is going 100 miles a minute, and I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and do the bundle where I can get into both races, because what if there ends up being a third medal for people that finish both races? And so I decided to go ahead and sign up for both races. So I did the bundle. And I was checked out completely by like 809, something like that. I was completely checked out. They had my money, and I was officially in the polar opposite Peachtree. A few hours later, and it wasn't very long, maybe 2 to 3 hours later, that polar opposite race was sold out, and people were upset. They were like, well, I was gonna do it on lunch break. I was gonna do it after work. And they, everybody was begging and pleading, hey, can you let us into this race? You got more slots, etc., etc. And they were like, no, that's it. Our race field is 5,000 and we're done. And so that race sold out in just a matter of a few hours. Something told me to go ahead and do it, and I'm so glad that I did. This race is a little different from the actual Peachtree in terms of what it offers. So with the original Peachtree Road race, you don't get to see the t-shirt up front. The t-shirt design is a surprise. You have to wait and actually run the race before you get the t-shirt. So while a lot of other races, you pick up the race t-shirt when you pick up your bib, you have to actually run the race and pick up your t-shirt when you cross the finish line. Same thing applies to the polar opposite. You get your t-shirt, and this is actually a hoodie because it's cold, right? So it's not a t-shirt, and I thought that was pretty neat as well. But the actual race t-shirt is a hoodie, so I'm looking forward to that. But you get it when you cross the finish line. With the Peachtree Road Race in July, if you want a medal, you have to pay for it. And you actually get your medal when you pick up your bib. So you don't get it at the finish line, you get the medal when you pick up your bib. In the polar opposite, they're giving you medals, and you get the medal at the finish line, and I didn't have to pay for it. And so I thought that was a pretty neat addition to this inaugural event, that they were actually giving away the medal with the race versus having to pay for it and you getting it up front when you pick up the bib. So great job to Atlanta Track Club. Great addition. I love that. So the Atlanta Track Club did sponsor 3 days of race bib pickups in their office, and so I decided to go today. I just got in town, flew in today, and so I went to pick up my race bib today. So it's just afternoon, and I just got here to the Atlanta Track Club. This is where the bib pickup is for the AJC Peachtree Polar Opposite 10K. So I'm looking forward to going in here and grabbing my bib because it is lunchtime and I am starving. So let me go grab the bib, and then let's see what I can find for lunch. Let's see if I can find my name. B, 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 B. There I am. How cool is that? All right, so I'm back. I picked up my bib, and there you are. There's my bib for the inaugural Polar Opposite Peachtree race. So I got my bib. I also purchased one of the little beanies. I loved it because it was white, but it has like the logo on it for the race. And I loved that. And so I picked it up. Now, I don't run in Adidas. I don't even know if I own a pair of Adidas, but they are the sponsor for the race. So their logo is on the back of it. But I just realized that when he gave it to me. But I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, got my stuff. It's time to find some lunch, and then we'll try to check into the hotel. So I'm here in Atlanta. We actually used to live here. We lived in Atlanta for about 10 years, so I know all of the great eating places, all of the great Southern food places, the chicken and waffle places, and where did I end up? Chipotle. And the reason for that is because, I'm not in marathon training anymore. I am not burning as many calories as I was during marathon training. And so right now I really just have to be very deliberate about how much I'm eating, be very mindful about the things that I'm actually eating. And Chipotle is always my go-to when I'm out and I have to eat out because the ingredients are simple and I can, keep them within my macros. And, typically I can get like a portion where I can make it 2 meals. So what I got today was a chicken bowl, and I'm going to eat half of it for lunch, and then I'm going to save the other half for dinner. So it's just convenient, but it's just really funny. I'm here, and as much as I want the fried chicken and yams, I'm stuck with Chipotle. As far as training for this race, I have been training using a 4-week training plan, and then this ended up being the 5th week. And this 5th week is actually the first week of training for a half marathon that I have in March. And so I went from one 4-week training plan right into a 12-week training plan for a half marathon. And I have yet to run the actual 10K race, but that is tomorrow. And then my sole focus will be on the half marathon coming up in March. As far as goals for this race, I really don't have any. Now, it's always good when you can get a personal best. My personal best 10K is 56 minutes and 3 seconds, I believe. And I did that at the Marine Corps Marathon 10K race, the Turkey Trot race, but it was a 10K race in November. And so, if I can get somewhere in the neighborhood of that, a little bit lower for a personal best, I would be very happy with that. But I don't have any specific time goal. It is cold outside. We're in January in Atlanta. It is going to be about 29 degrees at the start time, with a feels like of about 21 degrees. And I really don't like to be cold. And so I'm really kind of, I'm a little anxious about that. I don't know how well I'm going to perform. I've been training in cold weather. So I've done a couple of runs outside in the cold and trying to, dress appropriately to see what it is that I need to wear for tomorrow. And I've been wearing some thermal pants, and I'm just not sure that I'm going to wear them tomorrow. They kept me warm, but they made my legs feel different. They made my legs feel a little heavy, and I will admit that they are a little large. They're a size large. I probably need a size small at this point, but I just haven't had a chance to go out and find more. So I probably won't wear them. It's going to be, for me, it's going to be a race day decision. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and see how I feel. I think I would rather be, cold for a few hours than to be uncomfortable during the race. But as far as like setting a goal time, I just really don't have one because I just don't know how well I'm going to perform in the cold weather. All right, so that's a little bit about the race I have coming up tomorrow. I am super excited for tomorrow and can't wait to share with you what happens. Wish me luck.